everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here today. I'm Marina, I'm soaring part of Meditativity and Women in Tech Ambassador in Russia. And I'm really happy to welcome Marina Mogilko here with us today. Marina is an entrepreneur from St. Petersburg, and she's been living in Silicon Valley for 5 years. Marina has 3 YouTube channels with 4.5 million subscribers, and she is co-founder of Lingotrip and Fluent Express. Marina will tell us more about her companies later. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
So today we're going to talk about personal brand, and Marina knows everything about it, and she's ready to tell all of her secrets. Marina, my first question is, what are the benefits of strong personal brand for an entrepreneur and in business in general?
Yeah, I think so. Just having a strong personal brand is a strong media outlet for your company. So when you're still deciding, especially at the idea stage, when you're still deciding like, oh my God, what should I build? Instead of testing something on cold traffic and investing in ads, you can just ask your followers, like, I created this landing page, would you guys buy this product? Or even before that, like if you have an idea of starting something, you would always get inspired by your followers. So even with Lingotrip, when we started, I didn't have anything like a blog or whatever. So we just started with solving the problem that I had, the problem of finding the right language school. But then once my channel started growing and we started having more and more students in our community, they started asking for online courses. They started asking for Skype classes. And we realized that's another market opportunity. So strong personal brand, or just personal brand in general, like having followers, just helps you have this community of people who will help you test your ideas, who will be your marketing outlet. And I think it's great. It also has its downsides because you're always like in between to create a video for YouTube or do a jump and on this call with the team. So you're always kind of trying to prioritize one thing over another. But in general, it has been working great for me for 5-6 years already since I started the channel.
Yeah, thank you. And let's, you already mentioned that, but let's talk more about the downsides of it. What disadvantages can your company have?
So first of all, strong association of the company with a personal brand. And if something happens to my personal brand, that could affect the company. And this is why for the past couple of years, our strategy was to completely remove my personal brand from the image, just in case, because, it's, I've never seen like a big company being, well, I have seen a couple, but the majority of big companies aren't associated with their founders or CEOs. They have their own brands. And this is what we started focusing on. We started focusing on it right from the start, but because my personal brand was a lot stronger, we still relied on it for marketing. Now, like a couple of years ago, I told the marketing team to still use my image, but use it to like 10%, minimize the usage to 10%. And we just try to market without me. We try to work with other influencers because I just don't want the situation when, something happens to me, or I think I realize that I don't want to be doing this blog anymore, and then the company's revenue goes down. So this is number one. Number two, it's a more of a personal thing. Is when you're like, okay, something that I mentioned, to create another video, or I really want to talk about this problem, but if I talk about it, would it affect the company? So you're always like, when you're saying something, you're thinking, how would my employees react? Like, how would the team react? Because you don't want to offend them, but at the same time, you want to talk about something, or you just don't want to send the wrong signals. That's the right phrasing of it. And you're always like, do I just need to be honest with my subscribers, or do I need to be honest with my team? Like, also always this trade-off.
Yeah, some kind of balance, and you also always need to think what topic should you bring. And since followers, they usually like people who are talking openly about things, and authenticity, it might be really difficult to jungle.
Yeah, especially in 2020, like when the whole COVID started, my like my impulse as a blogger was like to go out there and start complaining like how our study abroad business is highly affected, but at the same time my COO position would just be, it will be affected because the team would see that I'm desperate. So I just had to, pretend that not kind of nothing is happening, but I had to pretend that I'm not really stressed out. So that's kind of, when you have to lead the team, you make those choices.
Yeah, I've never thought about that your team is also your followers. So
Of course,
you think about your customers and your team, about your investors, about your partners, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it takes a lot of energy to build your career or especially your own startup. And is it worth to scatter efforts on creating personal brand at the same time, or is it better to postpone it?
Well, it's always your personal choice. I think if you feel the urge to share information, just start sharing. I see a lot of people just forcing themselves to post online, which is not the best thing because, like with everything, you need to do something that you really love. And if you don't like being on social, then don't do it. Like if you love both, if you love your business, if you love building a personal brand, you will find time and you will find the way around it. There's social networks that allow you to minimize your time there, but still get followers. And there are new social media that's evolving, like Clubhouse, and TikTok allows for a lot of organic growth without like creating a 20-minute video like here on YouTube. So it's really up to that person. But I think it is very crucial to be honest with yourself. Am I doing this because the society is pressuring me and I see all the cool vloggers and all the cool entrepreneurs who are having their own blogs and I just want to be like them? Or is it coming from inside of me and I want to share this information and I want to spread the word about some problem or whatever?
Yeah, of course. And startup advisors, we usually advise to have a clear and narrow focus. Does it apply to blogs? Should you prioritize one topic and talk about it? Or
I would do that at the beginning, definitely, because this is how you get followers these days. Because like 10 years ago, you could have 10 years ago, you could have started with just random things, showing what's in your purse or whatever. This is the type of content that used to take off. Now, because there are so many influencers and people are looking for more niche content, I would start with your expertise and then grow your smaller community first and then spin out to other topics as well.
Yeah, and let's jump to this question. So how to build your small community, your first followers, like for example, 1,000 followers, because in my opinion, first subscribers are the hardest to get.
They are the hardest to get, yes. And every first 1,000 is more difficult than the first 10,000 and so on and so forth. So the further you go, the easier it gets. In terms of the first 1,000 followers, okay, really depends on the social network, because if we're talking about Instagram, then you just invest in ads. That's the only way. If we're talking about YouTube, you just create content once a week based on your expertise, following all the algorithm rules, like titling your videos in a kind of clickbaity way, targeting wider audience with your niche topic. Like, for example, we're talking about investing, calling your video, I don't know, an ETF that is showing, this percentage of return is not the best way to title it, because then the majority of people who are just starting investing wouldn't understand. I would call it like how to invest $100 in 2021. So something like that. So trying to go broader with the topic, but still staying within your expertise. Having good equipment also plays a role, like at least having some good lighting from your window and recording with a better model of your phone. And then just, being confident about what you're talking about and not experimenting too much at the beginning. Like, because sometimes I see people, they make their first video about their trip to Switzerland and then about investing and then about, I don't know, kids, whatever. So you need to stay consistent for at least the first 10 videos and see what happens and post every week. What I say to my students, YouTube school students, is that you need to be consistent with posting for at least a year if we're talking about YouTube. And then your life is going to change, because a lot of people give up after 5 videos. And This is not the way YouTube works, unfortunately. TikTok might promote you with the first videos, but then it goes down. So it's kind of a little different the way their algorithm works. With YouTube, it's very gradual, but then once you get to your first 1,000, once you crack the game, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, let's dive into different platforms a little bit. You've mentioned TikTok or YouTube, Instagram. Which platform is best for which purpose? And also, what do we think about this new Clubhouse?
I would definitely start with platforms that allow for organic growth, and that's YouTube and TikTok. TikTok is a little more, so the attention span on TikTok is shorter, and I don't see how you can sell through TikTok later. So a lot of people who are building their blogs to sell their products or promote their expertise, they start with TikTok, but they actually sell on a different platform. So they just redirect their traffic to Instagram, for example, because Instagram has swipe ups. YouTube is great for both, for organic growth and sales later on. So I would definitely start with platforms that give you this organic growth so you don't have to invest money. But if you have a budget and you think, I want to choose the easier path, then Instagram is also a way to go. Because again, with Instagram, you don't have to create longer form content. You just post, photos or maybe short videos or reels are performing good. And then you write something about your expertise, create stories. But again, I don't see Instagram growing organically in the nearest future, and that's the way their algorithm works. Clubhouse, I'm still exploring what's happening there. I can't give my expert opinion just yet. I'm still starting, like a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we can try something with Clubhouse and see how it goes there. And also you mentioned Instagram has reels and posts and stories. What should we focus on? Or do everything?
So in terms of if you want to focus on organic growth, reels are definitely one of the best these days in terms of offering the organic growth. Instagram stories offer engagement with your existing followers, and also by doing swipe ups on Instagram, you can sell your products. Posts you don't have to be too consistent, you don't have to post every day like you had to a couple of years ago. I would say just once or twice a week, or if you're just starting out, just make 10 or 12 posts so people have an idea of who you are. And again, don't mix content. We talked about starting out as an expert. If you're starting out as an expert, don't include content from your personal life just at the beginning. Once you hit your 100K followers, they would be interested in your personal life. And then you can decide whether you want to add this or not. But again, I see a lot of people who start an investment blog or start a business blog, and then suddenly on Saturday they post their recipe for croissants. They're like, why are you doing that? So, but this is my opinion. Different cases have different outcomes, but this is what I notice as a subscriber myself as well.
Yes, thank you. And how to stand out and draw attention, especially in 2020 when competition is really high?
So again, with Instagram, I would say just pay for ads. That this is the only way I'm able to grow on Instagram. Apart from in my case, my Instagram is growing because I have organic new followers on YouTube. So if we're talking about YouTube and standing out on YouTube, that's already something that I mentioned: titles, thumbnails, and this is art that you have to learn. It's not something I can explain in 5 minutes, but I've already tried with titles that apply to wider audience, or even thumbnails. If we look at the stats, thumbnails have to have at least 40% of their space occupied by a face with an emotion, and maybe some bright phrase. And thumbnails that have red color on them tend to perform better. But there are also other rules in terms of dynamic of the video and stuff. With TikTok, again, we don't really know, but I would say the longer people watch your videos, the better it performs. And then again, people tend to fall for easier life hacks, like how to make 100K a month. I don't know. Or they like luxury stuff on TikTok as well. If you're showing something that expensive, this is what we've seen take off on TikTok. But again, if we're talking about educational content, for example, my Lingua Marina TikTok account has over 1 million followers, and the best performing videos are like how to speak English fast, and I explain it in like 20 seconds, or top 10 phrases in English, or what else was performing well? Something about like getting a job in English. So something like a magic pill that performs well on TikTok.
Okay, and so we've been talking a lot about different kind of blogs and platforms, but do you have any advice on what other things could be helpful in order to build your personal brand, like beside blogs?
What do you mean, like
speaking at conferences, going to events, creating your expertise in some narrow community?
Wherever you can get exposure, like this really helps at the beginning, especially exposure to your core audience, and that is conferences, or even like studying something, attending a course somewhere. I know it's harder to network these days when everything is online, but once we're back to offline, going and taking the course together with other people who are in your area of expertise, that will help a lot.
Okay, thank you. And if you're building an international startup, for example, and you're not from our native-speaking country, should you have English Instagram or whatever blog, or should you use both languages, your native language and English, or you should focus on just one language?
It depends on your purpose. Like if you are building an international company and you want to market through Instagram, then of course it has to be in English. If you're building a company and you don't really care about marketing through Instagram, you care about reaching out to investors, then I would say start at Twitter in English, because that's like that demographic is on Twitter and Clubhouse. So Instagram, I would say in terms of like building a business, it's more of a marketing, less of networking. But this is my experience, because I try to network with people from like Silicon Valley and entrepreneurs, and they're mostly on Twitter. So if I want to network, I go on Twitter, or I just reach out to people. In terms of like marketing, yes. Then if you're trying to market to international demographic, then absolutely in English.
Yes, and my last question is going to be about our mental health, and especially we've been all faced this problem last year, but how to avoid or overcome emotional burnout if you're building a company, or at the same time you building your personal brand, and you of course encounter negative comments, and it takes a lot of time, energy. How do you handle this?
Well, first of all, delegating a lot of stuff. My workday is 3 to 4 hours these days, because most of my stuff is delegated. Like my YouTube is managed by, I have 2 managers who help me. I have 2 editors. I have 2 thumbnail designers. I have my managers helping me with scripts. So basically it takes me 25 minutes to make a 20-minute video, and I just delegate the rest. The same with the company. You need to focus on your superpower. I know this is something that is hard to make when you're just starting out, but definitely keep that in mind. And your first hire should be your personal assistant, who would handle a variety of tasks that you don't have to be handling, because you have to focus on what you're the best at. It's either like creating a product, thinking about marketing, or creating videos, whatever. So for me, delegation is key, because otherwise, yes, I would have been burned out a lot, because it takes me around 6 hours to edit one video, and I produce 3 per week. So that would just take most of my time, and like having a family, it's just impossible. So having a team is number 1. Number 2, in terms of like dealing with negative comments, etc., the easiest thing that I can say, just don't read them. And I again delegated reading comments. I delegated this to my manager, who has a spreadsheet that I created, and she just tells me like on the scale of 1 to 5 how positive the comments are, and what are people asking for, or what are they complaining about. So she's just telling me it's 4 out of 5. The majority of people are complaining that you didn't mention this, this, and that. And this is like the way it works. And at the end of the month, I just analyze my performance. And when you're honest with yourself and with your audience, I think you get less negativity. That will be another tip. And what else? And also understand that, like, if you are getting to some point of success or you have a strong opinion on something, like, it's either up to you. Do you want to show it off? Do you want to state your opinion? Because if you have a strong opinion, there is like a huge chance that 50% or 40% of your audience would disagree. And at the beginning, maybe you don't want to do this. Maybe you would want to be more flexible. So it's really up to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marina, for all the tips and your opinion on everything. And we really hope that this video will motivate many women to go on live and present themselves and not to be afraid of negative comments and be confident about themselves. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you so much.